When you are moving to the Czech Republic, finding accommodation is one of the most important parts of the process. And out of that process, there are two most important parts, and that is how much will you pay on monthly basis, what is the average rent, and how much will be the total move-in cost, meaning how much you will pay to enter a lease agreement. And both of these things I'll cover with you today in the next, say, 4 to 8 minutes. Disclaimer, yes, of course. You can always get a cheaper apartment or like a better apartment or more expensive apartment. The numbers I will be giving you today are the average numbers. The things you should expect when you're moving to the Czech Republic, like reasonably expect. Because if you expect something very low, you might find it, but you might spend like 10 times more time just waiting for the apartment, because there are cheap apartments still, even on this crazy market, but they're hard to find and there is the biggest competition to get them. So if you're moving here as a foreigner, these are the numbers you should always expect to make, to get like realistic expectation. Of course, the exact price of the apartment depends on the location. Obviously, in the most popular expat areas like Vinohrady, Karlín, Davice, Žižkov, and some others, of course the rent is higher. But then it also depends on if you want a furnished apartment or an unfurnished apartment. And it also depends on the quality of the apartment, because there are some apartments which are the old, like concrete buildings apartment from the 17th or 80s, and they are obviously cheaper. First, because they are usually in like not that good locations, usually further away, but also because they are just not in that good condition and the quality of living is not really high there. So obviously this is important as well, and depending on what location, furniture and quality of the apartment you choose, the price might be different, but it will be more like within that range on other or different sides of the range, but you should always be in this range reasonably. Before I go to the actual rental prices, let me explain what I mean, because I'm talking here about the total amount you will be paying monthly. So not about just the base rent, but about all the fees related to the rent, okay? What items is the total rent you pay in the Czech Republic consisting of? Okay, so number one is the base rent. That is the thing, that is the, let's say, fee for the landlord. That's their profit. Then you usually have there, hopefully I will not make this visible, you have common charges there, which are charges for the building where you live. So maybe for the elevator, or for the renovation of the house, or cleaning of the common areas, and all this. So these are common charges. Sometimes they're included in the base rent, but sometimes they're not. So you can see both. Okay, that happens, both is normal. Then you pay utilities in most cases, and especially now because of the situation with the gas and electricity, landlords will want you to transfer the electricity and gas to your name. So these will be in most cases extra. You need to go to the electricity company, gas company and register the utilities into your name. And then internet, in most cases the internet is extra because different people have different preferences about the internet. So usually landlords give you the opportunity to choose what internet you want. So, but now this is what you've been waiting for, I guess. So let's jump into that and let's see. Maybe one more thing, then I go there, I promise. But one more thing is that I could have never imagined these prices. We've been in the business for 10 years, and 10 years ago we were renting apartments for like half the price, and I could never imagine that it would grow so much, but it has. So let's see what you think about the numbers. Studios, if you're looking for a studio, which means basically just one room containing everything, the kitchen and a living room or a bedroom. Okay, so if you're looking for a studio, obviously there can be different sizes and layouts, all that different quality of the apartment. I've seen anything from 12 square meters to studios of 70 meters square, but on average, the rent for a studio in Prague is 15 to 20k including everything. I've seen studios for 25, 30 in total, but that's kind of crazy already. But below 15, including all the charges, it's very difficult to find now because, yeah, again, 10 years ago we were renting apartments for 8,000-9,000 crowns, but now the base rent, 12 plus utilities, you will hardly get below 15. Guys, maybe let me know in the comments if you're already living in Prague, if you agree with the numbers or how much you are paying now. I'm kind of now telling you to do the hate comments because if you've been living here for some time, you probably have a better deal than this. But if you've just moved here now, these are the reality. Okay, so one bedroom apartment, meaning that you have one separate bedroom, and then the other room can be either a living room combined with kitchen, or it can be a living room and a separate kitchen, but just one bedroom apartment. The price you should expect is between 20 and 30,000 crowns, including everything. Again, it depends around the 20,000 crowns because you see it's around the same price as the studio. So this will probably be smaller apartments or unfurnished or further away, or the quality will not be that high. But this range should get you a reasonably like one bedroom apartment. It's something the prices are just crazy. I don't know what else to say about it. The prices are crazy, but this is, if you're coming here, I want you to have realistic expectation because we see it all the time. We receive in Move to Prague, we receive inquiries about rentals all the time, every day. And people usually tell us, okay, I'm looking for a studio, my budget is 12,000 crowns including everything. And we have to explain that 12,000 crowns was maybe possible even like 2 years ago, but now that 12,000 crowns is a budget for a room in a shared apartment, maybe, but not really for a studio. So we need to educate our clients a lot because also there are some websites like S-Reality, for example, where you can see all the apartments, you see the prices, but the websites are done the way that you see only the base rent and not rest of the utilities or rest of the charges. So you can find studios for 10,000 crowns, 12,000 crowns, but then if you read the description properly, you will find out that the utilities are 4,000 crowns, 5,000 crowns, so you will anyway get into this price range. Okay, so now 2-bedroom apartments. I will not show you because I just want to tell you what we'll be doing after. So a sneak peek to what will be there, the total move-in cost. So now, 2-bedroom apartments, 25 to 40,000 crowns. It's crazy. It's crazy for 40,000 crowns. Even like 3 years ago, you could have a really nice apartment in a good location. It's, I don't want to say luxurious because not really. Maybe like 1-bedroom apartment would be like luxurious for 40,000 crowns, but even for the 2 bedrooms, 40 was a very good budget. Now, not that much, but this is like a reasonable price range you should expect for 2-bedroom apartments. Hopefully this was interesting for you. Let me know in the comments what you think, if it's realistic or if your salary can, even if you can afford it, if you're moving here. Let me know what you think, guys. And now let's go through the second topic, and that's the total move-in cost. Because if you're moving here and you're moving into an apartment, it will cost you kind of a lot of money, and you need to be prepared for that. Because in different countries, there are different customs on like how it works, how much you need to pay, and this is how it works in the Czech Republic. So by this, I want to give you the idea of how much money you should have on hand if you're looking for an apartment in the Czech Republic. So, the total move-in cost depends or consists of couple things. So the total move-in cost consists of these items. Number one is the first month rent. Usually if you're signing a lease or if you're moving to an apartment, the landlord will want the first rent from you, and usually in cash. In most cases, you just need to bring the cash and put it on the table before you sign the lease or when you are signing the lease agreement. So first month rent, sometimes it might be a shorter period if you're moving like in the middle of the month or something. Sometimes it can be more, because if you're moving in the middle of the month, there are two types of landlords. Some of them will only ask you to pay for the half of the month and then for the next month a bit later. But I would say most of the landlords will ask you to pay for the half of the month and the next month. So actually 1.5 rents. But let's say 1 rent in advance. Then you need to pay some security deposit, which is there to kind of cover any damages you cause in the apartment, or if you have any debts on the rent or some the utilities or whatever. So this is meant to cover that. In most cases, it's 1 to 2 monthly rents. It can be, by the law, it can be up to 6 month rents. I've seen it once. I've seen a crazy lady who wanted like 6 rents in advance. I think that the flat is still available because that's crazy, but usually it's 1 to 2. 1 in many cases, and especially for cheaper apartments, worse apartments, lower quality. 2 monthly rents is, I would say, the standard, or definitely standard for like the better apartments, better quality apartments, definitely 2 months rents. Sometimes you can also see 3 months rents, but I would say maybe in 10-20% of cases, in most cases, it will be 1 to 2 monthly rents. And then if you're looking for a flat not on your own, but you're using a real estate agent, you need to be ready to pay 1 month rent as their commission. Sometimes it's slightly less, sometimes it's 1 monthly rent plus 21% VAT, so it's actually 21% more than the rent. Sometimes it is the rent including utilities, but in most cases it's equivalent to 1 monthly rent. So let's say the base rent without the utilities, without VAT. So if you calculate it in total, you need to be ready to pay something between 2 to 4 monthly rents when you're moving to an apartment. So if your budget is 20,000 crowns for, let's say, a studio, then you need to have up to 80,000 crowns in hand to be even able to move into the apartment. Because first month rent, that's for sure. 1 to 2 months rent deposit, that's for sure as well. And then now I would say it's almost impossible to find something without a real estate agent, because the market is very difficult for tenants. So most likely you will need to pay this as well. So 3 to 4 monthly rents is something you should expect to pay in the beginning. Of course, there are some additional costs which are not that high usually, but it's good to mention them. Insurance, that's more and more common, that more and more landlords want you to have a renter's insurance, but it's likely not that expensive. It depending on the size of the apartment and how much value you have in the apartment. I mean, like price of your, I don't know, furniture you bring or your laptops and stuff like that. It would be somewhere between 1 and 3,000 crowns a year, so nothing really much, but you need to take it into account. Internet, that's usually, as I mentioned, it's usually not in the cost or not in the rent, so you need to arrange it yourself. And sometimes the providers want you to buy the modem or pay some deposit because you're foreigners, so you can leave without paying. So this might get pretty costly in the beginning. Just to give you an idea, maybe up to 5,000 crowns. Usually you would just buy a simple modem for 500 crowns and then you pay 500 crowns on monthly basis. But with some providers it can be like 3,000 crowns for a modem, and then you need to pay some deposit and then the monthly fee. So let's say between 1,000 crowns and 5,000 crowns. And furniture, of course, it depends. If the flat is unfurnished, you will need to buy the furniture. So you need to calculate really well if it's worth it. Because if you pay like 3,000 crowns less every month, but you need to pay like 50,000 crowns for the furniture, you need to wage it. Sometimes what landlords can do is that if you see an empty apartment, they are able to furnish it for you as long as you pay like 2,000 crowns monthly more. So that's something in between and might be reasonable in some cases. So, guys, this was it. Let me know in the comments if what's your opinion, if you find it useful, or if you have a different experience, or if you pay different prices for your rent. I'll be happy to read it. I answer to all the comments, and that's basically it. I hope it was useful.